Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Roman Reigns vacates the Universal Championship due to leukemia. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose won the tag team titles in his honor. And then Dean turns heel on Seth. I'm in a glass cage of emotion right now. I'm Ollie Davis. Give us a subscribe, press the thumbs up button. Let me know what you thought of Raw in the comments down below because I'll be replying from out of nowhere. And click the eye above my head to give your rating, where you can choose from in awe, core, average, poor, and bore, as I review the 22nd of October 2018 edition of Monday Night Raw in probably a bit longer than 4 minutes. When Roman Reigns came out for an in-ring promo to open Raw, cosplaying as the 90s rock bum bag meme ahead of Halloween, we did what we always do for Roman promos. We booed him. It took about 30 seconds to feel very bad about that. Roman said he needed to apologize because he was meant to be a fighting champion, but he can't be that anymore because he's got leukemia, so he's relinquishing the Universal title. It's one of those announcements that makes it feel like you've been punched in the stomach whilst also being confused about what a fist and stomach actually is. Roman Reigns, the guy pushed at the expense of everyone else, who's had failed endorsements from legend after legend, the physical embodiment of WWE creative not listening to its fans, and thus the focus of our collective ire, has leukemia. And it's not just a recent condition, as Roman, or Joe as he broke kayfabe to say his real name, revealed he was first diagnosed with the disease 11 years ago when he was 22. The confusion was only equaled by profound sadness. Fans were shown crying in the crowd, the air felt sucked out of the arena and most likely from the living rooms of those watching at home. Those who had been booing Reigns just minutes before were now chanting, "Thank you, Roman." And although that'll likely be a popular thing to point out, they aren't hypocrites. It was the character of Reigns we took issue with, and still do, but the human and this very real-life affliction is different, and one that fully deserves the outpouring of positivity and support it's received. And just in case you weren't crying already, I wasn't, it had just been raining on my face. Roman's Shield brothers Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose embraced him at the top of the ramp, both visibly emotional with Seth heavily weeping. Roman said this wasn't a retirement speech, and admirably promised he's going to beat this and come back very, very soon. And for once, every single WWE fan is going to be rooting for him. It might be the best babyface turn of all time. It's truly one of the most remarkable wrestling segments I've ever seen. It was hard to concentrate on much else afterwards, with the fantasy world of wrestling devastatingly punctured by reality. But let's give it a go. Finn Balor beat Bobby Lashley with a surprise roll-up next. A nice finish to lift the crowd up, but also too early for Lashley's new heel character to lose. Ruby Riott beat a returning to action Sasha Banks following an awful inset promo from Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. After seemingly playing the same Brothers of Destruction Boiler Room promo from last week, Triple H and Shawn Michaels cut an in-ring promo about them being old, which is painfully apparent when they do the DX entrance looking like dads having a midlife crisis. But being old, Triple H pointed out, might just be a way of saying they're better, which is the best summary of WWE's WrestleMania booking strategy I've ever heard. They were interrupted by Undertaker and Kane's massive dong, which awesomely showed them on the Titantron digging graves for Shawn and Hunter. With Roman relinquishing his title, a graphic revealed Crown Jewel's main event will now be vacant versus Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman to crown a new Universal Champion, about which Paul Heyman cut a raw, emotional in-ring promo. Surprise, surprise, Heyman managed to respectfully address the Reigns situation while also building to a match and putting over Brock Lesnar. The man's a pro. A noticeably more babyface Braun Strowman walked down to say he's going to whoop Brock's ass, for him to turn round into a noticeably more heel Drew McIntyre Claymore. Fresh off his new push last week, Apollo Crews lost to Elias, and then continued to be overshadowed by an apparent Elias babyface turn. After the match, Elias tried to perform again, but Baron Corbin commanded he leave the stage or he'll be fired. So Elias left to return and smash his guitar over Corbin's back. Nikki Bella based her very good heel promo this week around Ronda Rousey's mum being ashamed of her her. It was a great delivery, but Ronda's promo failed to match it. After teasing Tamina versus Nia Jax like it's something we actually want to see, Ember Moon beat Tamina in this 4-way to build the Battle Royal at Evolution. I forgot that was What, this was the go-home show? Trish Stratus and Lita brawled with Alicia Fox and Mickie James backstage. Amidst reports, Alexa Bliss has been pulled from Evolution due to a concussion, which, again, to remind you, is this Sunday. And the very emotional main event saw Seth and Dean take on Drew and Dolph for the tag team titles in honor of their Shield brother Roman Reigns. They put on a fantastic match, with the crowd into every near full. Seth and Dean wrestled with an extra layer of emotion, which was very likely real. But because Drew claymored him earlier, Braun brawled with McIntyre through the crowd after a ref bump, leaving Dolph all alone to take the loss. Seth and Dean are your new tag team champions. Seth is a double champion. A brilliant feel-good moment after a heavy few hours. Oh, god damn it, Dean! After a tight embrace, Ambrose kicked Seth in the gut and hit the dirty deeds. Dean looked furious with himself, while Seth heartbreakingly reached out to him and said, "It's okay, we can work this out." But then through sadness, jealousy, or just being a lunatic, Ambrose beat him down again, exposing the concrete outside and hitting another dirty deeds on Rollins. After being one of the most predictable heel turns of 2018, WWE masterfully pulled the trigger when we least expected it. It's such a difficult tightrope to walk, essentially using a very sad, very real-life situation to fuel a pro wrestling storyline. But WWE, Dean and Seth executed it perfectly. Ambrose's acting in particular was sublime, as it has been since his return from injury. This was an incredible episode, entirely built upon the emotional roller coaster of Roman vacating the title. While everything else on the show didn't really matter, the Shield narrative throughout the night was so strong, so perfectly done, that this week's Raw is in awe. Are the Bullet Club starting their own wrestling promotion? Click the video on screen now to find out, and give us a subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest wrestling news. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.